European Melee has historically been a region known for its Fox players. If we look at this ranking from 2019, we'll see that we've got Leffen number 1, so this is the European Melee power ranking from early 2019. Leffen's number 1, Ice from Germany number 3, Professor Pro number 5, Priscent number 10, got myself at number 13, Mint 17, Pipsqueak 19, right before his insane rise, both in Europe and globally. So Europe always had a good amount of Foxes, and that was reflected in the global rankings as well. If we look at SSBM rank 2019, we'll see that Europe had a couple of players on that list. Leffen, number 2 in the world, amazing. Professor Pro from the UK, number 34 in the world, also great. Ice, still, almost the top 50. Then myself, 83. Priscent, 89. So Europe has been doing well when it comes to their Foxes. If we now look at the 2023 SSPM rank, we see that first of all, Europe has a lot fewer players in there in the first place, and also there's just one Fox left, which is Professor Pro, who, sad story, isn't playing the game anymore. So I want to take a trip with you and look at the Fox players that Europe has had and what happened to them. Where have they all gone? And maybe have there been some structural changes that just make the climate less friendly for the European Foxes. So the first Fox we have to talk about, of course, is this guy, Armada. Of course, we all know him for his speech, but from what I managed to figure out, it seems like that guy had a pretty good Fox. This is a pretty cool game from Smash Summit. This is Smash Summit 6, where he played against Plup. Armada had started using Fox against most Cheek players by that time, and yeah, he wasn't just good in the Fox Ditto or as Fox against Puff. He just had a good Fox that could work out in pretty much any matchup if you needed it. So, as you all hopefully probably know, Armada entered Super Smash Con 2018, won the tournament, and then announced his retirement. He made a video saying, "I'm quitting the game," and that's what he did. People didn't really believe it. They're like, oh yeah, surely he's gonna come back soon. But at this point, it's been 6 years. Of course, we'd be super happy to have him back, and anyone can change their mind, right? Like, that's not a bad thing, and I'm sure we'd all love it. And from what I know, he does still play Melee doubles sometimes, but like, somewhat casually. He's not like grinding. He just, probably finds some people to play doubles against, beats all of them like harder than they've ever been beaten before, just because he's probably still that good. And then he just goes play Mario 64 again and streams that and does well in that game. So yeah, Armada had historically been, of course, the highest ranked European player. In the very first SSPM rank that came out in 2013, Armada was ranked 2nd in the world. In 2014, he was ranked 2nd. 2015, he was 1st in the world. 2016, he was 1st. 2017, he was 2nd. 2018, he was 2nd. And then, at the end of 2018, he quit. And that's where that's been. So yeah, Armada, very, very big loss for the European Melee community and also the European Melee Fox players. We didn't really think about it back then, like that losing Armada also means losing one of our Foxes. I'm sure we knew it, but since it was just like this one player leaving us, it didn't seem like there was any structural issue or some structural problem making it hard for Fox players in Europe to thrive. So next player I want to talk about, who unfortunately also eventually left us. Oh yeah, this is the Armada video where he says, "I'm quitting Melee singles." I think the thumbnail says it all. Next one we have is another fan favorite that people still ask about to this day. It's Ice. What we're gonna watch here is winners semifinals of the Big House 6, where we ended up having Ice versus SFAT, because I think Ice beat Silent Wolf, who upset someone else, and I think SFAT beat Mewtwo King or something like that. Anyways, we had these two players fighting each other in winner semis, and Ice just kind of went off. I don't have to say much, you can just see the gameplay as we talk about his career. Ice, just like Armada, was on the very first iteration of SSPM rank. In 2013, he was already ranked number 13 in the world. And yeah, he didn't really slow down. In 2014, he was ranked 19th. 2015, he was 17th. And then he stuck around in the top 20 until 2017, where he slowly, had his first ranking outside of the top 20 at number 28. 2018, he ended up at number 39. 2019, he was ranked 51st, which is still extremely good. And then the COVID era happened for Melee. Of course, especially for Europeans, it was really hard to, know how good you are, because it's already hard to get sets against the best players in the world when most of them are in the North Americas, when you're in a different continent. But when you can't even travel because all the flights are, the borders are closed and flights are very hard to get on, all you can do is play online. Europe luckily had a very great online circuit that people played in a lot, and a lot of very good players entered. Ice played in that quite a bit. He did pretty well in it. And then his last tournament where he showed up in person was the Smash World Tour Championships, which happened in 2021. A tournament series that I very much miss, because the way they supported European Melee was actually incredible. Because, everyone who plays top 8 in the qualifier had their flights paid for, which is such a huge deal when it comes to, traveling across continents. Yeah, he did well there. He beat Aklo, and he beat Professor Pro in losers. Then he lost to Polish, was out of the bracket, and then that's been it. People still ask where he is to this day. There's still a Reddit thread multiple times a month where someone's like, yo, where's Ice? His Fox was so cool, I miss him. And I do too, I loved his Fox. When I started playing, I think he was my favorite player to watch, him and another Fox from New York City. So yeah, he unfortunately just hasn't really been playing the game. I think from what I've heard, he still plays Melee doubles in a private Discord server, so it's kind of similar to Armada. But he hasn't really entered any singles events, and I haven't heard of any plans of him wanting to do that. So yeah, unfortunately, Ice, was hard to travel after COVID. He entered online events. He flew out to NA one more time with the Smash World Tour Championships, did well there, and we miss him very much. We'd love to have him back as a player, as a person. But yeah, from what I know, there's no plans of him to come back. But if he does, I'll be the first one to make a happy Twitter post about it. All right, next up, also one of people who know European Melee. This is probably going to be one of your favorite players. It's Prisant. Prisant had their. Prisant is kind of not weird to talk about, but Prisant started playing I think at roughly similar time when I started playing, and got really good really quickly. Had a really good run at one of the airs, then did well at Fed the year after, but Prisant was always somewhat of a rare sight at big tournaments, especially at NA events. From what I can remember, what I can see is that this Smash Summit has been Prisant's only NA event that they've ever gone to. And they did a great job there. They beat Shroomed in the set that I'm currently showing you, which was a very big deal at the time, because everyone knew that Prisant could do it, but seeing them actually do it was really great. They also, this Smash Summit was in 2020, I think. It was in early 2020, right before COVID. Let me check that, just to make sure. When was this uploaded? Yeah, February 2020, so right before everything was shut down. They went to the summit, did great. Then COVID happened. Didn't really see them enter any online events. They did enter Arca Melee 4, which was in November of last year. Placed a solid 13th place there, and then came back this year to win Valhalla 4, which is one of the biggest European Melee tournaments we've had this year. Really happy they won. I'm sure the person they beat in Grand Finals is really sad about it. I don't know who that is, but maybe I can find that out at some point. But yeah, so they are for sure a player who, if they get the chances to play, would, in my opinion, be a very easy login for at least top 50 in the world. Probably even higher than that. But yeah, let's from what I've heard, they might want to travel a bit more next year. But yeah, if they change their mind, then so be it, right? People are free to make their own choices. I'd love to see them attend more. I'd also love to travel with them and attend stuff and play doubles with them at those events. But yeah, Prisant, not as fully retired as some of the other players we've talked about. Prisant does still play and is planning on entering some stuff. So hopefully we'll get to see them play a bit more in the future. Cool. Now that we're talking about the Swedish Foxes, we have Pipsqueak. You might know Pipsqueak. I say Swedish Foxes because there's the joke of Pipsqueak, Prisant, and myself being the trio of Swedish Foxes, which is a Reddit comment someone made 5 years ago. It's funny because 2 of these 3 foxes aren't even Swedish, and now like at least one of them, myself, isn't even a fox player anymore. So calling us the trio of Swedish foxes is just kind of insanely funny to me, and it will never stop being funny. But yeah, we have Pipsqueak right here. Pipsqueak kind of like got good at a similar time that Prison and I did, but then in 2022, Pipsqueak just popped off harder than anyone could have ever imagined. Like, Pipsqueak went to one tournament, beat Mango and Hungrybox and a bunch more players, and just got ranked like, where was it? Somewhere in the top 20 of the world. Yeah, Pipsqueak was ranked 20th in the world in 2022, which is insane. Because I think, if I see it correctly, you know, there wasn't any SSPM ranks from 2020 to 2021. The last one was in 2019 before COVID, and then 2020, 2021 didn't have any. And then 2022, the rankings come back, and boom, Pipsqueak number 20 in the world. Super deserved and absolutely incredible. And Pip was like, playing against Pipsqueak is such a unique experience because you're playing the Fox Ditto, and it just feels like, it feels unfair. Like, in the sense that you see what the opponent is doing to you, you know you could do that as well if you're just better at the game, but you aren't that good at the game, but Pipsqueak is, and then you just lose. Like, you get knocked down, you never manage to get back up without getting successfully tech chased, you end up off stage, you lose your stock. It's like, well, I'll just try to do that myself. You try to do it, you miss your first tech chase, he shines you back, and then you die, because now, once again, you're knocked down, so good luck there. I love Pipsqueak. Amazing person, very funny, very nice to hang out with. And Pipsqueak isn't super fully retired. Similar to Prisant, Pipsqueak kind of took a bit of a break after 2022, just slowing down a bit with attendance. And this year, Pipsqueak has already gone to get on my level X, which was, I think, in May of this year, somewhere in some point in spring. Beat Chango, beat Frenzy, beat Faust, all really good wins, then lost to Wizrope. Got a really solid 17th place, and Pipsqueak does attend the locals in Stockholm sometimes. So yeah, Pip's kind of just like chilling out from what I know, like doing other stuff in life, just being a proper adult, living a good life. I'm really happy for him. But also, you know, would love to see him back at events. But first of all, I just want him to be happy. Like, that's my goat. I just want him to have a good time. If that involves playing Melee, that's great. If that involves playing Melee, but like not traveling as much, that's also great. Just hope my goat is living his best life. Cool. You might have already seen that I skipped over this guy. We're definitely coming back to him. Professor Pro, the best Melee player that the United Kingdom has ever produced, historically. Prof is amazing. He's been a staple of European Melee for such a long time, so that when he announced that he's gonna stop playing in 2024, it was really sad to see, because his local scene loves him, the rest of Europe loved cheering for him, and he's gotten so many good wins on the global scale that, he was a very easy player to root for, because he's just a chill guy. Like, you know, he's really funny, because, like, at least that was my experience with him. He always felt like somewhat reserved to me. And then when I first talked to him, like, he wouldn't say much, and then suddenly he'd just say the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. And it just caught me so off guard that it really stuck with me. So he's a great person, amazing Fox player. Like, he's really known for just moving really quickly, like very, very fast dash dances. And like, yeah, when you play against him, it feels like he's running you over. And even if you try to fight back, because you know that he's trying to run you over, it just doesn't work. He just runs you over even better than you could expect. Of course, he's not a one-dimensional player. You don't get to, be like 24th in the world like he was in 2016 by just being a one-dimensional player. He is just an amazing Fox player, and he played a style that not many people have been able to recreate in Europe. He was also one of the Foxes who actually managed to do pretty well against Triv, because as Triv, the Peach player from Spain, started getting better, it was lights out for pretty much all the Foxes that weren't Leffen or Professor Pro. Ice also held his own pretty well, but Ice, he's been gone a bit longer than Prof has been. Prof, went to Santa Paws in 2023, which was his last, NA event. And since then, he's we've missed him dearly, and we hope that maybe one day he'll be back, or at least, you know, we get to find him on unranked and just play a fun session from time to time. Cool. Yeah, this is him beating Hungrybox in 2014, 2015 at Paragon LA. It is just insane. Yeah, beating Hungrybox is always... When that happens, that's always PogChamp. Maybe one day I can be on that list as well, if I don't get mid-set popped off again and then timed out in the 5th game. One can dream. Cool. Next up, there's a guy you might have heard of before. Not this guy. We're talking about the other guy right next to him, who tweeted at one point, "I will win EVO" in like 2015, and then he managed to win the very last EVO that Melee ever got. And this is Leffen versus Armada, Grand Finals of EVO. Can I have the quality here? This looks pretty bad. Yeah, I can. So this is Leffen Armada, Grand Finals of EVO. Leffen's up 2-0. He went so hard in the top 8 of this tournament. Like, I think he had a very, like, initially somewhat close set with Hungrybox, where he looked a little bit shaky in the beginning, and then he just turned it up, destroyed Club, destroyed Armada, and was like, well, alright, I guess he is winning EVO. He just manifested it so hard over all these years that the universe cannot deny him any longer. So yeah, what has Leffen been up to? Leffen entered a few tournaments. In 2023, he was not ranked on SSBM rank, because I think he attended 3 events, which was the necessary cutoff to be ranked. If I'm seeing this correctly, he attended Genesis in 2023, Battle of BC 5, and the Ludwig Algren Championship Series 5, so LICS 5, which he won, by the way, which is kind of crazy. Beat Zane, beat Triff, Hungrybox, Zane, Cody, and Zane again to win that tournament in 2023. But I think most of the panelists of SSBM rank decided not to rank him because, yes, he attended 3 tournaments, but it was, for them, it felt impossible to accurately rank him based off of those results. So I think they abstained from putting him on the ranking. So yeah, he's not ranked globally at the moment. In 2024, this year, he went to Genesis in the beginning of the year, where he did pretty well. He beat Akir, Ben, Slug, and Moki. Then he lost to Cody, Schwab, and Zane, which are pretty acceptable losses in this year, I would say. So that was a pretty good run. After that, he also attended Battle of BC, where he beat Salt and then lost to Zane and Cody again. You know, once again, like not bad losses at all. So the thing is that to be ranked, I think you need 3 majors. Maybe you need 3 rages and the regional, I'm not quite sure. But from what I heard is that Leffen is signed up for Don't Puck on the Grass this year, which is in November. And if he attends that, he would be eligible to be ranked. It doesn't mean that the panelists have to rank him. They can abstain from ranking him. And if enough people abstain from ranking him, then I think he won't be on the final SSBM rank for this year, for 2024. But there's a chance that if he attends that event, and then maybe even one more in December, which right now doesn't seem likely, that he would be on the ranking at the end of this year. So this is the ultra upper that wins him EVO. He jumps. The camera just like zooms out a bit. He's popping off. Armada's like, "Yep, good job, man." I can't do a good Armada impression. I wish I could. And then this is what Leffen said this year. He tweeted this right before Battle of BC. He said, "Little announcement. I sadly don't have time for Melee anymore, so I'm not planning on competing this year. Things might change in the future, but no promises. However, I'm going to Battle of BC. Staying at SoCal after Arc Evo and grinding for the last Melee ride." Cool. He said this because he wants to focus on other games, especially on 2x KO. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced, but it's the Riot Games fighting game. I don't know traditional fighters. If there's no wobbling in it, I don't know anything about it. So yeah, he's playing other games. He's doing well in those games, of course. He can just pick up any fighting game and become one of the best in the world at it. So, respect to him. But when it comes to Melee, like I said, he is signed up for Don't Puck on the Grass. He's made some tweets of like, I kind of want to get back into it. And he did ask around a little bit for like some Melee practice when I was in his stream last, where he was like, I want to play good players in the future. Do you want to play? So it seems like, if I can get some sessions in with him and just play in the exact way that will make him feel as good about Melee as possible, maybe I can do my part in getting Leffen to attend more tournaments again. But maybe I'll just grab him by the ledge once and he'll just throw his controller and then we'll never see him again. So, fate is in my hands. I'm completely joking, of course, like what I do doesn't matter. But I think, always a chance that he doesn't end up going to Don't Puck on the Grass in November. If he does, that's amazing. If I can help him practice for it and help motivate other European players that way, that's even better. But unfortunately, Leffen is, he's not here anymore. At least right now. The past 6 months or so, we've missed him very dearly. Cool. So, what has changed? If we go back to this ranking, we look at some of the individual players. Though I think the only person we didn't talk about out of these here is Mint, who also has been inactive. Mint did enter like a pretty big UK online tournament and won that event over the likes of Frenzy and Luke, who is a really good UK Fox. So Mint is still really good and is around, but I don't think Mint has entered much either. The other person we haven't talked about here is Nikki. I just don't play Fox anymore. That's it. I play Ice Climbers now. And now we can talk about why is that? Why have all the Foxes either disappeared or switched to a character that can't even waddle anymore? Why would all these people do that? So, of course, this ranking here was made in early 2019. So the results it was used, or the results it's based on, are mostly from 2018. And in that year, European Melee was still using the PAL version of the game. In 2019, to be precise, in January of 2019, we had our first Melee tournament that was like a pretty big event, like a major-ish event for Europe's scale, that was played in fully NTSC. So it was using the different version of the game, the version that America uses, that pretty much the rest of the world was using by that time. And you would think that, oh nice, like in 2019, all the Fox players got a buff, because Fox's up B now goes longer, his up smash is much stronger. Here, like Marth doesn't get knocked down by Shine, which is arguably hot debate around that, but some people argue it's a good thing. So why have the Foxes disappeared? And I think it is because even with the NTSC buffs, Melee is still more about the player who's playing the game than just about the character. I'm pretty confident that all these players we're seeing up here who got really good with one character, like all the Fox mains who got good as Fox, pretty sure that if any of them like had the motivation to pick up a different character, they would be similarly good just because they understand the game well. There might be some exceptions of people who can really only get good with one character, but I think that them being a Fox or not doesn't really make the biggest difference. It's just about the people who play the Fox, and the people who play those Foxes have either just had reasons in their life come up that made them focus on something else, like focus on work or just their regular life, first and foremost. They might be focusing on other games. They might be focusing on grabbing people by the ledge and then doing 300% in one combo on unranked until people quit out. So I think there's no structural issues here. Fox players can still thrive, and there's some up-and-coming Fox players who might break into that level soon. If we look at the EU rank 2023, we see that there's still a decent amount of Fox players. But you see in the top 10, there's like Professor Pro, retired now. There's myself, just plays Ice Climbers now. And there's Pipsqueak, who also doesn't enter as much anymore, or at least travel as much anymore. So the top 10 is kind of empty when it comes to Foxes. And there are a couple of people who could fill that spot soon. I actually asked around in the SSBMU Discord of like who are the good Fox players who might be able to reach that level soon. We've got Stein from the Netherlands. Let me just put on some gameplay so we can watch something as I talk about it. Sure. We've got Stein from the Netherlands, who's really good. There are Asta and Rix from Germany. They're also both very promising players. There's Raptori from Finland. Of course, hate that I have to say this, but there's Kingu from the UK. There's also Luke, also from the UK, who's very, very promising, kind of like, for some people, came out of nowhere and has just started taking sets off of the likes of Frenzy, who's a top 50 ranked player in the world. So Luke looks really good. I made a list and now I didn't bring the list, so I'm sure I'm forgetting some people. Really sorry about that. But yeah, European Fox players are kind of just, the ones we do have are good, but they're not quite in that like top level of play where they would be a shoo-in for the top 100 ranking at the end of the year worldwide, right? They're good enough to contend with players who are like barely top 100, maybe, but they're not good enough to like clearly show that they belong in that ranking range quite yet. And hopefully if we all keep playing with them and make sure that we force them to play proper melee by grabbing them and shit grabbing them whenever we can and then doing very long grab combos like I'm trying to do, maybe that will motivate them to make sure they're so clean and so good at the game that they're never getting grabbed again. I'm doing my part, you all should do your part so that we can have some more top 50 ranked European Foxes again. But like I said before, a lot of these Foxes are still around. It's just about them like having the time or motivation or just the willingness to travel a bit more when they've been, somewhat inactive in terms of going to NA recently. Cool. Let me know what your favorite European Fox of all time is. Let me know which ones are good nowadays that I haven't talked about. Again, I'm really sorry about the people who I just forgot. I've been rambling for a while and I forgot to bring my list. So I'm sure someone's going to be really insulted right now. Let me think. Who did I forget? Netherlands, Stein, Germany, Asterix, Finland, Raptori, Norway. Mostly just Prisant. Sweden. Yeah, there's just... I feel like saying the countries makes it worse, because if I say someone's country and then don't remember them, it'll be even more insulting to them. So I probably just messed up really badly. So, again, flame me on Twitter if I forgot you and you think you're good enough to belong alongside those other players. But let me know what you think. Let's make European Foxes healthy and alive again. I didn't want to say great again because that has pretty bad connotation to it, but you know what I mean. Cool. Hope you enjoyed and make sure to subscribe. See you all next time.